I've got a question for you, Kristina. And my question is, if you could change one thing about having albinism, what would it be?
Am I only allowed one thing?
Yeah.
It probably would be my light sensitivity. I find it the hardest thing, and it determines so much of what I can and I can't see, and what I can and I can't do, and what I want to do and what I don't want to do, because I spend a lot of time when I'm outside with my sunglasses on and my eyes shut because it hurts and I don't like it, and it's disorienting as well. I just find it hard, and there's not really a solution to it other than sunglasses and contact lenses, which I have anyway. But even sometimes with them, it's just really uncomfortable. And if I could change or get rid of one thing, that would be it. Yeah.
That's really interesting. And do you think that one thing question, do you think I'd get the same answer if I asked that of 20 people with albinism? Do you think that would be common, or do you think there's different things?
I think it would be different things. It might be, people might talk about, I think a lot of people would just be generic and say they would prefer not to be visually impaired, probably. Or I don't know actually, because I haven't asked people. I think it would really vary. I think people would go from how people perceive them to aspects of their vision or aspects of how their eyes look, or I think it would be very variable.
Yeah, I think it would as well, actually, just from having discussions with people over time. And I think it's a really interesting point, because we're lucky enough to be in a world now where we're actually talking sensibly about treatments, in inverted commas, so things to try and treat albinism beyond supportive things. And I think it's raised a whole load of questions that maybe we all didn't really predict a few years ago, which is what would you actually want to get rid of or change? Because some people might say there's an appearance thing that they'd like to do something about. Some people say absolutely not. That I wouldn't change that even if I could. So, as you say, some people would have an issue with the photophobia, the brightness, and say that if there's one thing I'd get rid of, that would be key. So that's a sort of different treatment, if you like, trying to think about how to make the irises work better. Some people would say absolute vision. Some people would say stop the nystagmus. I think I agree. I think it'd be really variable, but it really plays into that question about, if we're thinking about treatments, what bit would we be aiming for them to treat? Do you agree?
I agree, and I also think it depends where you are at that point in your life as well. I think if you were to ask somebody who was younger than an older person like me, they might say something totally different, because I've already had different experiences. I've had a lot of time to work on myself and work on how, like when I was younger, I really struggled with how people perceive me, but now I'm older, I don't really care, to be honest. If you don't like me, then that's your problem, not my problem. Based on how I look, not my personality. So I think it's very variable on where you are and what point of your life you're at, probably.
Yeah, that's an added nuance, isn't it? Because if we're thinking about treatments in inverted commas, we're often talking about probably having to treat very young children, and therefore it's difficult to then factor in what would they have chosen themselves when they're a little bit older. So yeah, it's a really interesting ethical sort of area, isn't it?
If you've got anything else you want us to discuss, or any burning questions you want us to answer, then please put it in the comments below.
And if you could press some of those buttons at the bottom, the heart ones, the thumb ones, whatever they are, apparently that's good to get people to see these videos. So please do that.